What's up, sports fans? What's up, world? You are now tuned into the world's greatest MC Ron and his co-host.
Your guy, Zen, on King.
And we are keeping it 10 toes down. We are the sports podcast that always keeps it real about sports talk. And I apologize for us not having a podcast last week. Your boy here, MC Ron, was predisposed. I was enjoying my spring break, so I took a spring break from the podcast too. But I am back, better than ever. I know my boy here, KJ, went to Dreamville. I know you enjoyed that.
Man, shout out to Dreamville Fest. It was the 5th and final. They still gonna have a festival, but it's not gonna be Dreamville, so I don't know if they're gonna get, the presence of Zen on Ken anymore. But that was an amazing festival. Shout out to Cole, shout out to everybody who did it, and shout out to Bill Belichick giving Lil Wayne a fresh UNC jersey for the Yes, I seen that. I was like, yeah, okay. Belichick getting some points from me. I still don't like you, bro.
You got a little bit more brownie points. I'm mad. I've never been to Treefield. Never will, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's all right. It's all right.
I've been telling y'all for 4 years. Y'all missed it. Y'all missed it.
Yeah, that's my fault. It's definitely my fault.
If you want to go catch it on my IG. And then if you are also on my IG, you can also go through Keeping It 10 Toes Down and go listen to your favorite podcast that we've done so far.
Exactly. We are recording this podcast on. We're now in the month of April. It is April 8th. 2025. Now that we are in a new month, so ends the month of March, which means the end of March Madness, because it is the end of the NCAA tournament for both the men's and women's. They have the new champ. We got new champions, new national champions. Shout out to the Connecticut Huskies. The UConn Connecticut Huskies on the women's side, and shout out to the Florida Gators on the men's side for winning their respective championship games. I'm just gonna give them a little bit of quick shout out there because I didn't watch either games. I'm sorry. I know y'all are gonna throw salt at me. Listen, college basketball doesn't really interest me like that. All right, I try my best to watch it. It's just, I don't know, something about college basketball just. It's not as entertaining as NBA basketball. But anyway, all right. So, but anyways, yeah. Shout out to those two teams. My best bracket was on the women's side, and I had UConn winning. I was ranked. What was it? 395,000 out of what like 10 million people who did the bracket. So my bracket for my third bracket, because I filled out 3 brackets on both sides. My bracket for the women, my third one that I filled out went great. All right, went great. Well, for me, it went great for me. But that's just a little tidbit there. But because we're gonna really talk about the NBA, and something just happened in the NBA today. Just today. So, KJ, what in the world happened in the NBA? What's the big news in the NBA?
Well, first and foremost, the Bucks just fired their head coach and their general manager.
The Bucks? You mean the? Was it the Bucks? Uh-huh.
No, not the Bucks. I don't know why I said the Bucks. The Denver Nuggets just fired their head coach and their general manager. Why? I don't know. They are currently on a losing streak, but they're 4th in the West, and you have Jokic and Jamal Murray is coming back. I don't see the vision. Maybe they know some things that I don't know, but yeah, that was pretty shocking to me. I don't know about y'all.
coupled with another firing with Taylor Jenkins from the Grizzlies, and so and these are two teams that are in the playoffs. Basically, they're either in the playoffs or they're fighting the play-in. Either way, I think the Grizzlies at the time, they were actually in the playoffs. They were actually one of the top 6 seeds when they fired Taylor Jenkins, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so it just boggles my mind. Like, it's crazy because in both situations, I'm like, now with the Grizzlies situation, it was a lot of, because I saw a lot of Grizzlies fans actually agree like, hey man, he needed to be gone and all that, blah 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 blah. But my thing is, but also I saw those same Grizzlies fans say that, hey, that needed to happen at the end of the season, maybe. Like, wait to the end of the season to do that. Not we're in the middle of a playoff push when we only got a handful of games left.
I think teams only really have 3, 4, or maybe there's a team out there that's got to play 5 games.
So yes, and then the Denver Nuggets, you're down to your last 3 games, and you do this.
This is like the equivalent of benching Kirk Cousins for Michael Penix with 3 games left in the season, and y'all can go to the playoffs.
Though, yeah, but also at the same time, Kirk Cousins really wasn't performing at that high level beforehand. So it was like they went to it, they got to, especially after, I think they beat the Raiders, if I remember. I once again got a bad memory, but still, Kirk Cousins wasn't playing all that well. I mean, at that point, the writing was on the wall. Even if they did get to the playoffs, they were going to be a first round out, Yeah. But with the Nuggets, it's really weird because you won a championship with Mike Malone. This is different from Memphis firing Taylor Jenkins. Even though it's still, once again, I still think that it still doesn't make sense because, once again, you're in a playoff push. You had a handful of games left, and you might as well just ride it out and then fire him at the end of the season. All right, but with Mike Malone, he won you a championship not too long ago, and this smells of the Bucks. You just mentioned the Bucks. The Bucks firing Mike Budenholzer, and after he won them a chip. Now, Mike Budenholzer didn't get fired near the end of the regular season. He got fired in the offseason, but still, I'm like, the guy won you a chip. That should afford him at least another 5 to 10 years before you fire him again.
Right.
But what has happened to the Bucks subsequently? They haven't gotten back to the championship. Ever since they fired Mike Budenholzer, they have not been back to the championship game. Really, they haven't been past the first round, if I'm correct.
Ain't been close.
So it has shown that, hey, you get rid of your championship level coach. There was a stat I saw on Instagram. They showed the last I think it was last 6 coaches who won a championship. I think that was Nick Nurse, Frank Vogel, Mike Budenholzer, and now Mike Malone. 4 of the 6 they have been fired from their team, and that's just showing how impatient a lot of these owners / GMs are when it comes to team building and just when it comes to team building and making sure you have a consistent contender, because you're not going to win the championship every year. Not everybody is going to be a Phil Jackson and win 11. Not every coach is going to be a Phil Jackson and win 11 championships. All right. Some coaches are going to win 1 or 2, but they're going to provide stability. Not every coach is going to be a Greg Pop, even a Greg Pop who has 5 championships. But not every coach is going to be that. But some coaches are going to be like a Larry Brown. He'll get you into a championship. He'll provide stability. Or some coaches are going to be like a George Karl, or I think Jerry Sloan, longtime coach of the Jazz. Guys that provide stability. Yes, they may not win you a buku amount of championships. All right, they're probably not, but they're going to provide you stability. And the fact that you got a guy like Mike Malone, who I thought was doing a pretty good job. I mean, now I believe the GM deserved to be fired because why would you you didn't do anything to help improve that roster whatsoever. Honestly, you lost pieces from that championship team. Yes, that is fire. That's fireable by the GM. But the coach, all the coach can do is work with the pieces that he got from the GM.
I think
and that's what he was.
I think a reason why the guy from Memphis got fired because Ja keeps throwing them gun signs up, bro. He just got fined I think almost, I don't know how much he got fined, like $75K, $95K. I think it was like $70K for doing a gesture the other day against the Warriors. And then he did it again. And then he did it. I mean, and he also did it like the game before that. I'm like, okay, so maybe they fired him because okay, you're not getting this superstar to see the bigger picture. But like I said, the Nuggets, I ain't tripping because that ain't my team. But I don't get it either.
And now but I just think it feels more something's behind the scenes. It's something behind the scenes. All right, it's either political or personal. It's one of the two P's, political or personal. That's the reason why they got rid of Mike Malone, the Nuggets. It was either political, huh?
I said I heard they about to trade Jokic to the Lakers.
Now. They are not that stupid. All right, they're not like the Dallas Mavericks who, hey, here's our franchise player, Lakers, at the age of 25, which means he's got another 10, 15 years. But so no, I don't think they're gonna be like that. Nah. I hope not. But yes, it's one of the two P's, though. The reason why Mike Malone got fired. It was either political or personal. It feels, and maybe really a mix of both. I feel as though Mike Malone rubbed ownership and the powers that be the wrong way. And so they were just ready. They were just, hey, man, we're trying to find a reason to fire you. And now they got on this 4-game losing streak, they've been kind of not as good as I guess you would think with an MVP candidate in Jokic and a guy I think he should win the MVP because he is the best player in the league. And the fact that he has carried this Denver Nuggets franchise to 47 wins this season, and because they've been it has been not a severe power down, but they've definitely been powered down from seasons past, especially from their championship year. All right, and so now you got once again you got Jokic, the best player in basketball, and you're Mike Malone. You're doing the best that you possibly can, and then you get fired. Like I said, It's one of the two P's, and it's a combination. Really, it's probably more of a combination of both. Once again, Mike Malone probably upset the powers that be, and they just got sick and tired of it, and they just they were looking for any little reason just to get rid of him. And then when the moment that they got on this 4-game losing streak, they're like, all right, we finally found our reason. Let's go ahead and knock him out the door. All right. And now because of this firing, I think it kind of not imbalances, not the word, but it kind of upsets, there we go, the power in the West. So now it gives me this one question, KJ. Who now are the favorites in the West, especially after these couple coach firings? Who are now the favorites in the West?
I'm gonna be honest. I think that Denver is going to remain a favorite. Yeah, their head coach got fired, but they still have Jokic and Jamal Murray is coming back. So I think they're going to. It's going to hurt them a little bit, but I don't think it's going to hurt them too much for them to fall out of the favorites. Obviously, you have the Lakers.
Of course.
Of course. um, Obviously, you know what I'm saying. You have OKC, and outside of that, I wouldn't even put Golden State in there.
Why not Golden State?
Nah, Golden State is good. They're really good with Jimmy. I think they're 18-2 or something since Jimmy been there. But when Steph Curry is not Steph Curry, they are not the Warriors. It does not matter who is on that team. They're not the Warriors. And they don't have home court advantage. And you know what I'm saying? They don't have no home court like they used to. And ever since they haven't really had home court advantage, they ain't really been going that far.
So, and I do agree with that because they lost last night, the other night to the Rockets, and the Rockets had Steph Curry in a straitjacket. And like they held him only to 3 points. And I think it was like 1 for 10 shooting. And the Warriors got their asses whooped. So it did show that even though Jimmy Butler did help improve that team, to your point, they're still Steph-centric. However, what happened in 2022 when they were still Steph-centric? Remember, they still had Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson was still kind of a shell of his former self. Steph Curry still was able to take over. Then the Warriors still were able to win the championship. So all I'm saying is, when it comes to the favorites in the West, I may agree with you that they're not necessarily one of the overwhelming favorites. Like you see, OKC. You see people talk about the Lakers. I don't know why not enough people are talking about the Rockets being a favorite, but I guess because people think because of the youth that they have, that they're going to get upset by a more experienced team. Maybe not. I'm just saying. Usually when you count a young team out, especially a young good team like the Rockets out, and they keep on hearing, hey, you guys are kids, you're young, you're not going to, you all are making no noise. Usually they end up subverting expectations. So I'm not, especially when they do have a guy that has won a championship on that team in Fred VanVleet, a veteran guy, another veteran presence guy like a Dylan Brooks. Their coach Ime Udoka, he may have not won a championship, but he took the Boston Celtics to the championship in 2022. So they've got little pieces there that have some experience. It's not just Alfred Şengün, Jalen Green, and all the Amen Thompson, and the rest of those young guys. It's not just those guys. They got a few guys on that team that have that experience. So I'm not going to necessarily just say, just poo-poo the Rockets, but I do believe that there's 2 dark horses. Really 3 dark. The West is freaking crazy. Let's just say that.
Wow, it's the Wild West for a reason.
Yeah, because there are 3 dark horses I can see in the West. 3. Once again, you mentioned the Nuggets. We've mentioned the Nuggets. We mentioned the Lakers. We've mentioned once in Rockets, OKC. But the 3 dark horses. Go and say Warriors, because Steph's there with Steph, Draymond, Steve Kerr. That championship DNA is still there. You got the Minnesota Timberwolves. Remember, they did make it to the Western Conference Finals last year. And if Ant-Man can find a way, he'll find a way. Though I believe they're a lesser version than they were last year. I really think they should have never gotten rid. They shouldn't have traded Karl Anthony Towns. It's just in my opinion. But it's whatever. And then what was the third team? The LA Clippers. The Los Angeles Clippers. They're another team that is a dark horse. I'm just saying. Nope. And the thing is, nobody's really talking about them being a for real contender and to get out the West. And that might be a team that they what if they match up? What if they match up with the Lakers in the first round or something like that? I'm just saying, what are these what if scenarios? Like, if they match up with the Lakers in the first round, I don't think the Lakers would want to see the Clippers in the first round. I think they would, because right now, as things stand, they would face the Golden State Warriors. I think they would rather face the Warriors than face the Clippers in a 7-game series.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if the Lakers getting out of that first round. Just saying.
I think the Lakers could honestly beat anybody, but if I was the Lakers, I would definitely want to play the Clippers because the Clippers have good defense. But you think I don't care who I have on my team. I don't want to go up against Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler. Nah, too tough for the first day.
I mean, but because you just think, I know they got like I said, I know they got Luka and LeBron and all that good stuff, and Austin Reeves, huh? I know Austin Reeves. But my whole thing is with the Lakers is the only thing I think is really going to show up in the playoffs is their lack of defense. I think that's really going to show up, and I hope they were defending OKC the other night in that win, and since everybody says that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a free throw junkie, he ain't take not one free throw that night. They didn't even get 100 points. Hey, they did. That's one game, but I'm talking about a series. In a playoff series, you got to win once again 4 games. In a playoff series, the weaknesses of your team get maximized, basically. I think that's, I don't know if that's the term I want to use, but that's when it comes to a playoff series. Whatever your weaknesses of your team, it gets found out there. And the Lakers' lack of defense it's really scaring me from really just saying, hey man, they're gonna do something. Like, yeah. Hopefully they do. Because I don't want to. I'm not against LeBron getting another championship. I'm not. It'd be a nice little bow on his career. Getting 5 championships. But I think the Lakers are a year away from them actually being a championship team. Like, I think I think after this season, that's when I'm like, okay, yeah. Especially if LeBron still plays at the level he's playing now, which is like freaking astonishing. Like, dude, like you're signing AARP checks, and yet you're still giving people 25, 7, and 7. What the hell? So, but yeah, but also, I want to talk about another team in the West, though. A team that right now is not in the playoff picture. The Phoenix Suns. Right now, they're on the outside looking in for the play-in, and really I believe they're like 1 loss away from not. They're a loss. I believe they're either a loss or a Dallas Mavericks win away from just getting not even in the play-in right now, because they are looks like they're 2.5 games out of that 10th play-in spot. With they only got 3 games left. I think 3 games left.
And let's see.
No.
They have 3 games left, and they have to play the Thunder, the Spurs, and the Kings. While Dallas has to play. Ooh, the Lakers, the Raptors, and the Grizzlies. Look like this is staying.
It's going to be interesting. But I wasn't really talking about their free.
I think that Phoenix is technically already out. What are they? What you said they were 2.5 out? I don't. That would mean Dallas. They would have to win out, and Dallas would have to lose out. I don't know.
Basically.
I don't think that's happening.
So here's my question, because and also the Phoenix Suns are on a 6-game losing streak. To add to that fact too. My question is, KJ, what happened to one of my favorites? Remember, I was picking them to make it out the West. What happened?
They are not. They don't have an identity. First of all, like you have Kevin Durant and Booker, but signing Beal to that. I mean, what happened is when they tried to develop this team. That's exactly what happened, and when it happened, because okay, you have Booker, that's good. You had Chris Paul and Ayton. Y'all got to a finals, but you didn't win it, so you blew it up because you didn't believe in DeAndre Ayton. Okay, that's cool, whatever. Chris Paul was getting older. Okay, cool, I get it. Then you bring in KD, who is older as well, and then you sign Bradley Beal to a 200 trade. Yeah, you trade for. I'm saying you acquired Bradley Beal for all of that money, and then like, how are you going to give those 3 players all of that money and then fill out your roster, right? So yeah. I think their biggest issue was the rest of their roster outside of KD and Booker, and then you have obviously KD goes everywhere and is like, okay, I want to leave. He's having issues with Budenholzer, and all of that stuff. I thought Budenholzer would be a positive, but again, he is only a coach. He's not playing the game. So, like, if you have a rift with your star best players, it's just not gonna. None of that sounds like a recipe for success. So, I think it was just doomed from the jump.
First of all, I'd like to thank the Phoenix Suns for taking that Bradley Beal horrendous contract off our books. Because my God, when we signed this man, all right, let me go to an aside just for a quick second, because we got time to do that. Just joking, maybe. Yeah, when we traded, when my Wizards signed Bradley Beal to that atrocious contract with a no trade clause, by the way, I was like, "Are you serious?" Because like, before we signed him to that contract, I was on the acceptance of where I was like, okay, we need to trade him. Like, this is the most we can get with Bradley Beal. The best that this team can be with Bradley Beal as our star player is a first round exit. I knew that. All right. So I was like, okay, that's the cap with the team. Go ahead, trade Bradley Beal. I'm going to be sad, but let's go ahead, trade him and get it. Well, let's get it, rebuild, start anew, blah, blah, blah. All right. Basically doing what we're doing now, but we should have done about 2-3 years ago. But anyway, excuse me. But we didn't do that. We stubbornly said, hey, we're going to hold on to our star player. We're going to sell tickets and all that, even though at the end of the day, the ceiling with Bradley Beal as our star player is a first round exit. That is the ceiling. Don't know why our GM, but anyway, we signed him to a horrendous contract. Once again, no trade clause, all of that. And so I'm like, oh crap, we are in absolute hell. But a silver lining came to us in the Phoenix Suns. And they said, hey, though we could have gotten a lot more, we could have gotten a lot better deal if we traded him a few years prior. But still, whatever, we got what we could from Bradley Beal. We got out from under that contract. We gave him to the Seattle Seahawks. Oh my God, the Phoenix Suns. Oh, what in the world? But We gave him to the Phoenix Suns. And then now the Phoenix Suns got all of, once again, like you said, 3 huge contracts, and they could not fill out the rest of the roster. Because, like you said, if you've got all this money stocked into 3 stars, really, if we're really gonna be honest about Bradley Beal, he really isn't a superstar. And honestly, to that point, neither is Devin Booker. The only true superstar is Kevin Durant. Now, a lot of people said, "Hey, look at the Miami Big Three. They put all their money into 3 players." But the thing is, Dwayne Wade and LeBron James were actual true level superstars. Once again,
and you have LeBron James. Like, I'm giving him whatever he wants.
The difference with the Phoenix Suns is you only have one true superstar, and that's Kevin Durant. Once again, this is not to insult Devin Booker. Devin Booker he's a star player. He's an all-star level player. But once again, there's levels to this, all right, when it comes to the star players in basketball. When you're on that MVP level, when you're on that Jokic, Giannis, LeBron, KD, when you're on that level, Devin Booker has never reached that level. He's always been on either a level below at best, or really he's been probably a couple levels under. And so now and then with Bradley Beal, he's definitely a couple of levels under Kevin Durant. All right, once again, being honest, Bradley Beal is my guy, but let's be honest here. All right, so you're putting all your money in those 3 guys, which only one of them is a true top flight superstar. What did you expect to happen? And so now the chickens have come home to roost. Kevin Durant wants out. You're all on a 6-game losing streak. Everybody's against Mike Budenholzer, though all he can do is make do with the piece that he has, because honestly, the person who really needs to probably get fired is the GM. Yeah. Because you just took on the worst contract in basketball, signed by, once again, created by my Wizards, signed by my Wizards. But hey, guess what? We got up from under that. But yeah,
Still only got 17 wins. He should have.
Hey, but the thing is, I knew. Hey, we needed to blow everything up. We should have done this 3 seasons ago. But now we're doing it. We're tanking and doing what we're supposed to do. Tank, get picks, We're gonna be garbage for about a few. I'm gonna have to take a few years of garbage until hopefully we end up like your Pistons, which because remember, KJ, your Pistons were garbage for about after y'all got rid of Blake Griffin and all that. Y'all were garbage for about 2020, 2021, 2022 for about a few years to now 2024 and 2025 season. Hey, now y'all good. You had to do it. So.
Yeah, it looked like the Suns are going towards that direction too, because Kevin Durant is going to leave. Kevin Durant is definitely going to leave. And Minnesota will be out of the play-in and be a perennial playoff team until Kevin Durant. But
no, there is one team that Kevin Durant needs to go to.
LA.
No.
You can go to OKC.
No. He needs to go back to his hometown. He needs to go to Washington, D.C. He needs to go to the Wizards, baby. He flaked on us in 2016.
So why you think he gonna play? Why you think he gonna get with y'all now? Because y'all ain't got no better. He want to go play with a contender.
He can make us into contender. All right. He always wants to be part of the GOAT. Kevin Durant always wants to be part of the GOAT debate.
You're tweaking.
Kevin Durant wants to. Okay, no, but I'm just saying. If Kevin Durant really wants to be part of the GOAT debate, because what has been the one thing about Kevin Durant that people keep on saying? Oh, he never leads his own team, right? The only reason why he got his 2 rings because he went to Steph Curry's team. And ever since then, he has not been back to the championship. He's not been back to the finals. Ever since he left Steph Curry. Steph Curry has won another championship he's won another championship after Durant left the team. So now it's looking like, hey, he needed Steph Curry. He needed that Warriors team. He needed to be. He did not need he needed to be the Robin to somebody's Batman. Because
I don't think we've ever seen somebody go to a 17-win team and then take them to the finals. I don't know if that's possible.
I'm just saying. No, I'm not saying he's gonna take us to the finals.
Bump LeBron James.
No, what I'm saying is, KJ, I'm not gonna say he's gonna take us to the finals, but I'm saying if he wants to prove that Kevin Durant, I think he has another about 2-3 seasons maybe at playing at his Kevin Durantness like level. So if he really wants to prove that if he really wants to be part of the GOAT debate, because that's one thing he always says, why am I not a part of the GOAT debate? I'm just as good as LeBron, I'm just as good as Mike, I'm just as good as Kobe, but nobody ever considers him part of the GOAT debate because of what he has done in his career, because the fact that he went to Golden State, he went to somebody else's team. Every single time he was the front man of the team, talking about OKC, talking about the Brooklyn, now talking about him with the Suns. He has not won a championship. He has not led his team to a championship. So if he still wants to try to be the main guy on the team, he still wants to be part of that GOAT debate, he can go. He can do once again how LeBron went back to Cleveland, hometown team, won the championship. Guess what? If Kevin Durant does that, and who's to say he doesn't improve? Who's to say he can't improve a 17-win Wizards team to like 40, 45? LeBron took LeBron took the Cavs, they were garbage. They were like 18, 20 wins, and then he came back to Cleveland, and now they became contenders.
First of all, that was almost 10 years ago.
Yes.
Second of all, Phoenix has Devin Booker, and they're still only 35 wins in, and currently on a losing streak. So there's no possible way he's gonna take Washington and Jordan Poole, even if y'all get Cooper Flag. Nah, man. If Kevin Durant is gonna go to the East and go to a team that don't have that doesn't already have a face, he might as well just go to Miami or New Orleans. I mean Miami or Orlando. They already in the play-in. They don't have a face, and Florida's a cool state.
Well, with Orlando, their face is Paolo, but we're here now.
I think KD can overstep Paolo. But
but yes.
I mean, those are the issues with Phoenix, and unfortunately, it just didn't work. It would have been cool to see KD and Devin Booker, in a Western Conference Finals or something like that. But the West is so loaded, bro. Like there's so many things that went wrong. Like you almost have to be perfect.
True,
because dancing polar bear at center.
Like look at there is a 4-way these are the records. Like, all right, after Oklahoma City and the Thunder. All right, you got the Lakers at 48-30, got the Denver Nuggets at 47-32, and then you got a 4-way tie, all teams with 46 wins and 32 losses. You got the Clippers, the Warriors, the Timberwolves, and the Grizzlies.
Yep.
We don't know who's going to be the player
that succession of teams was from 3 to 8. I mean, yeah, from 3 to 8. You know what I'm saying? Now it's 5 to 8. So it's crazy out there, man.
So yeah, we don't know who's gonna be the player in the West. We don't know what's gonna happen. But the only thing I know is that Phoenix Suns, time to blow it up. That's all. All right. But that's not the only thing that's happening in basketball. That's all the only news that's happening in basketball. We talk about GOAT debates. We already talk about GOAT debates. We talk about Hall of Famers. And the Basketball Hall of Fame has been announced. All right. 2 of the main guys that we like to talk about on this podcast. We're the one main guy that we like to talk about on this podcast that is a Hall of Famer, and that a lot of people are going to be a lot of basketball fans, mainly like if you're under the age of 25, that call him overrated, but he's not. He's properly rated. Carmelo Anthony is a Hall of Famer.
Finally, first ballot.
And guess who? And guess who else is a first ballot Hall of Famer?
So,
D12 Dwight Howard.
AKA Superman.
Exactly. Man, I was really happy for I was more happy for Melo than I was Dwight Howard because wasn't I was a little bit a fan of Dwight Howard, but I was a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of Carmelo Anthony. Huge fan.
Carmelo Anthony made me start watching basketball. Now, I started watching basketball. I think I started watching it for real in 08 when the Lakers and the Celtics were playing. Or was that? Yeah, that was 08. I was I was in Hawaii, bro. We was in Walmart and the finals was on, and I seen it on like the little TV displays in the electronics, and I just sat there the whole time. My parents were shopping and doing whatever they was doing. I would just sit there watching the finals. I was like, wow, this is great. But it would have been better with Carmelo Anthony. But yeah, bro. I know you love Carmelo, but I don't know, man. Well, really, Carmelo Anthony is my favorite athlete of all time, barring none. Nobody even comes close to Carmelo Anthony. I didn't watch him in college, but watching him with the Denver Nuggets, like, was just like he was just a joystick, a controller, bro. Like you couldn't do nothing with them. Even Kobe Bryant. With all of those defensive, not titles, but defensive first teams he has.
Yeah.
It was like Carmelo is the hardest person to guard over T-Mac, over Tracy McGrady. And don't nobody underrate Tracy McGrady.
Man, that was a Hall of Famer for a reason, man. People can. No, that's another guy.
No, like Carmelo Anthony is a 10-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA, a top 75 player. He's a 3-time Olympian. I think that's our bet. I think he has the most for us. I mean, in USA history. So he's Mr. Olympian. And he has a natty. He don't have a NBA Finals or nothing like that. But that man is like, oh my man. Again, like we said before, go back and watch Melo highlights. And then even seeing him in New York, like I would have much rather seen him in Miami and winning championships with Brown and Wade. But bruh, Melo in New York, like the man had a game, 62 points, 0 assists, 0 rebounds, 0 blocks, 0 dribbles. The man, 62 points on straight jump shots, bro. Like nobody does that, dog. And then on top of that, he's a Ravens fan, man. Come on, bro. That's the GOAT. Can't tell me otherwise.
Man, I'm just happy to see once again correct. Like, and it just felt so good to see all the Carmelo haters like saying, "Oh, he's not a Hall of Famer," even though once again 10-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA, like.
Top 75.
Like you don't think that constitutes as a basketball Hall of Famer? That there been guys got in with less. All right, so please pump the brakes on that. All right,
I understand. Jokic has 2 championships or one?
One.
A championship. And Carmelo Anthony does not, but that is, first of all, y'all should have never, ever, ever, ever in y'all lives gave the number 15 to anybody else, let alone a 2nd round draft pick. I don't care what he turned out to be. You know what I'm saying? That was really disrespectful. So now, even though Melo didn't, even though Melo is not going to have his jersey retired in Denver, which is astronomically crazy, I mean, somebody who did have their jersey retired also was Dwight Howard, so I thought that was pretty cool as well. Getting into the Hall of Fame and having your jersey retired, I think within like a week span, 2 weeks span, week and a half.
Oh, we get his jersey retired for the Magic.
Yeah, for the Magic.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. The reason, we all know the reason why they did not retire after Carmelo left the Nuggets. The Nuggets slighted him on purpose because they felt mad. They were mad that he wanted to leave because he wanted to play in New York, and so they said, "Okay, Melo, you want to leave us, even though we believe you are a franchise player. Okay, You want to be an asshole. We're gonna be a bigger asshole. We're not gonna retire the number, and we're gonna give it to the second round pick. They better be glad Jokic turned out to be the one of the greatest centers of all time. If not, they better be glad. Sorry, let me put proper respect on Jokic's name. They better be glad that Jokic turned out to be the greatest offensive center in NBA history. They better be glad. And a top 3 center of all time. I'm gonna say, let me just say top 5 center of all time for now. Let me not upset the apple cart too much. But yeah, they better be glad Jokic turned out to be the way that he did. Because if they did not, if Jokic did not turn out to be the way that he is today, y'all would be looking pretty bad by not retiring 15. But yeah, respect to Carmelo Anthony, man, Hall of Famer. But that's not just about.
You want to know what? You want one more thing before you go on to the other people? You want to know what else is an interesting fact about Carmelo Anthony?
What is it?
Not only is he a Ravens fan, obviously he loves DC because he's from DC. He reps New York, but he's from DC. Or he from Baltimore. You're right, he's from Baltimore for real. But he also wants to own the Wizards. Did you know that?
I mean,
hey
man, couldn't get anywhere, man. Couldn't get anywhere. To be perfectly honest, I mean, at the end of the day, because like, listen. Like, but I want to just talk about a little bit about you got a few other players. You got Dwight Howard. Once again, we talk about Dwight Howard, D12, a guy who was I think he won Defensive Player of the Year 3 straight times in a row, if I'm correct. A guy in his prime that was the best center in basketball. Like, this man was. Listen, you want to know about Dwight Howard's greatness? This man was the sole reason why we didn't get a Kobe versus LeBron finals in 2009.
Yep, we got the puppets, but we didn't get the real thing.
I know. Dwight Howard was the reason why. Like, let people need to understand how, like, how unstoppable this man was, especially, in his prime, lob, dunk, all that, especially on the defensive end, how in 2009, he just, in the Eastern Conference Finals, he just abused any Cavalier center. Like, and I think that was the year where they had Shaq, but Shaq was a definite shell of his former self. And yeah, that was, and they had they had nobody to stop him. So yeah, I got to
Shaq fell, and it was just really, really, really slow and funny. It took the man like 2 minutes to fall, bro. Trying to run up the court.
But yeah, so I gotta give respect to Dwight Howard. Definitely, he one of my once again, another one of those guys who one of my favorite players. And the funny part is he was still trying to get a contract this year. But I'm just glad. Once again, I'm just glad he got in. Shout out to a few other people, notable people: Sue Bird and Maya Moore.
Yes, sir.
And the 2000, and then I'm looking at the list right now. It also talks about the 2008 U.S. men's Olympic men's team, the Redeem team. R.I.P. Kobe. Sorry. But shouts out to everybody who made the Basketball Hall of Fame. Once again, shout out to Carmelo, Dwight Howard, Sue Bird, and my girl Maya Moore. She was at Maya Moore. I would say this: Maya Moore was the first. She was the first person that actually got me a little bit interested in watching women's college basketball. Really, women's basketball. Period. It was Maya Moore. She was the first one because I saw her game and all. I'm like, oh, she's kind of tough. No, women. No. Let me not lie. It wasn't her. It was she was the second person. Maya was the second person. The first person You know who that is. KJ.
Who?
She played for Tennessee. Come on, man.
I don't know their teams like that. The only person I'm thinking is Cheryl Swoops. I'm thinking
played for Tennessee, man. She played before Maya. Like, no, I think she played around the same time it was Maya, probably. But anyway, Candace Parker.
I didn't know she went to Tennessee. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Candace Parker, that girl.
Yeah, like
that girl.
Yeah. So Candace Parker. So mine was the second person. It was first. Candace Parker got me a little bit into it, and then mine more really just kind of stapled it home for me. So
broke the door down.
Yeah. So yeah. Candace Parker just kind of nudged that thing in, because it nudged that door open. But then when I saw mine more play, I'm like, knock that through. Once again, knock that door off the hinges. But yeah, shout out to them. Shout out to all the basketball Hall of Famers, and deservedly so. Every single last one of them. But let's go ahead and close the book on basketball season, and let's get into some football. It's a little bit of football talk. The NFL draft is only about a few weeks away. Next week, we should be giving our updated mock draft, because I know a lot of things happened in free agency. We still have not given you an updated version of it. Yeah, I know, the combine and everything. So we should, and rumors happen and all that good stuff. So next we're going to give you all our updated mocks. Some updated mocks. We may have some difference. May have some things that are wrong, but some things that are different, some things that are same. But we'll see. You'll definitely see. But we're continuing with our division by division recaps, and this time, second to last, we're talking about the AFC East, the division that houses my MVP, the official league MVP, Josh Allen, baby! Wow! Let's go! Sorry, I just love saying that.
I dropped my head and roll my eyes. I'm like, oh yeah, he did win.
Yeah, you gotta accept it. He beat out Lamar Jackson. He should have won. He should have won the MVP, but it's okay. It's okay.
Pumpkin eater.
But yeah, KJ, I'll let you start out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, since we so emphatic about Josh Allen, and I do use the word "we" loosely. We're gonna go ahead and start with the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen signs a $313 million deal with $250 million guaranteed. So his MVP accolade is coming in, to reap benefits amongst his pockets.
Yep.
They still have not signed Amari Cooper. They might probably. It's looking like they might let him go. I don't know. We're gonna see. But the other big thing that they did was sign Joey Bosa to a 1-year deal worth at least $12 million guaranteed. So I thought that was pretty interesting to go ahead and give Joey Bosa a 1-year kind of prove it deal just to see what you got, because he's been injured several times for the Chargers, and they really do need a defensive end, because what's it called, not there no more. Von Miller.
Yep.
So I thought that was pretty interesting for the Bills. Obviously, last year they went to the AFC Championship game and lost to the Chiefs again, in which I predicted y'all should have let Lamar get the MVP. Y'all should have let Lamar. Everything would have been right with the world, but whatever. Now we here. And this year, they obviously are picking way later in the draft, so we'll see who they get. But they really need to find something for them receivers. Still, thankfully they have James Cook in the backfield, so they don't really have to worry about running back like that. But yeah, find them receivers, man. And then I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and drop a little lower. The Miami Dolphins.
The Fighting Tuas.
The Fighting Tuas. Teron Armstead, their left tackle, just retired. They lost their best safety. They're not really a scary team, even though they have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. And it's not looking like they're getting any much better. They made several moves this offseason, but I'm not really seeing any splash moves unless you're talking about Zach Wilson as a backup quarterback.
Oh, I'm telling you, baby.
Yeah, I like that one. But outside of that, like, they signed Alexander Madison as a running back. Now they have A-Chain, Madison. I don't think Mostert is coming back. So maybe that's why they picked up Madison. But Madison is not really a great running back. So I guess they're going to have to be running back by committee again. I don't really see too much wiggle room for them to get much better, especially even in the draft, unless they gave up all their draft picks and even if they got somebody, like, y'all not going to beat the Bills. You know what I'm saying? But really, I did them. I chose them. I chose to talk about them second because the latter half of the division is really the most interesting part of this division. Because the Bills are going to be good. The Dolphins are going to be the placeholder for 2 or 3. But the Patriots and the Jets, they made a lot of they made a lot of headway. I personally think, especially at least the Patriots. So I'll go ahead and start off with them. They drafted Drake May last year. He had a pretty decent season. They needed some receivers. Their defense was not that great. And then as a head coach, they brought in Mike Vrabel this offseason. So Mike Vrabel came in, they got Stephon Diggs as a wide receiver. So that, you don't need, he's not obviously not like the Stephon Diggs that was catching all over the New Orleans Saints in the you know what I'm saying? But he's still he's the best receiver that they have by far. I ain't gonna say by far because Kendrick Bourne is pretty cool when he's healthy. But he definitely helps them out a lot, tremendously. Okay, they brought in Mac Hollins too. I rock with Mac. 6'4" receivers that sound cool to me. He might be 6'5", honestly, but and then they brought in Morgan Moses as an offensive tackle, which is pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? But the thing that they did really was on the defensive side of the ball. Again, Mike Vrabel is a tough trenches guy. Came from Tennessee, brought their front seven up to par. So he's bringing his edge rusher, his linebacker, Harold Landry from Tennessee with him. They went out and got Milton Williams. Then they got Carlton Davis as a cornerback. So they've been making some moves, man, for real. And then finally, and they have the fourth pick in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
So they've gotten better, and they have a chance to get even more better. So we don't know. I'm gonna keep an eye on the Patriots, but the Jets, the New York Jets. They picked up my cornerback from the Ravens, Brandon Stevens. Good luck. He gets burnt a lot. But the main thing that they did this offseason was bring in Justin Fields to a 2-year, $40 million deal, $30 million guaranteed, right? I think that is an upgrade over Aaron Rodgers. I'm not gonna lie. Aaron Rodgers, at the end of the season, Aaron Rodgers towards the end of the season had or maybe it was kind of like in the middle of the season. It was pretty decent. I'm not gonna lie. The beginning, no. In the middle, yeah, it was pretty decent. But Justin Fields not only adds youth, He not only adds youth, he also adds availability. Not to say Aaron Rodgers was, is hurt outside of that first year with the fluke injury, but which honestly probably attested to his age and the fact that he doesn't go to OTAs, which are starting, or training like that. So Justin Fields is going to bring availability, youth, and more mobility. Justin Fields has a lot more mobility than Aaron Rodgers at this point in both of their careers. You know what I'm saying? The only thing he just doesn't do better than Rodgers is throw the ball, but I think we're looking at Aaron Rodgers as the past Aaron Rodgers, and he is not that. So I think their throwing abilities are a lot more comparable than I believe that we see. So the Jets now having Brees Hall at the running back position. You got Garrett Wilson at wide receiver, and then you have Justin Fields at quarterback. So what I'm seeing is a mobile quarterback that can get their players the ball if he needs to. But he really don't. I feel as though the Jets are going to go more towards a safe running game, because you have Brees Hall and a mobile quarterback. So who is not terrible at throwing. You know what I mean? So what's the best thing to do to maximize your team? Minimize the negatives. If he's not a spectacular thrower, okay, cool, run the ball more. Oh wait, he also has a spectacular receiver. Okay, just get him the ball in his face. I think they're going to simplify a whole lot of things, and that's going to make the Jets a little bit more better.
All right. First and foremost, with the AFC East, it always begins. It ends with my MVP. My MVP! The official league MVP! Josh motherfucking Allen! First and foremost. They won the division once again. I believe they're going to be the class of the division. It's kind of funny how the Patriots were just dominating the AFC East for 20 for basically 2 decades. And now they're on the bottom, and now it looks like the Bills are on that trajectory where they're just going to be dominating the AFC East, where they're going to be the class of the AFC East for a decade. The one thing I worried about with the Bills is the lack of firepower at wide receiver, because you just can't hope that. Now I know they drafted Keon Coleman and all that, but and also during last season they signed Amari Cooper, but none of that really made a huge difference. And so you just can't go out there and be like, hey, Josh Allen, you're gonna have to play hero ball, man. You don't want to. Yes, he had his best season yet, Josh Allen, all things considered, especially with the lack of weapons that he really did have. So he had his best season, won the MVP, but it all kind of came home to roost. That defense can also use some improvement. So it's more of a wait and see. Wait and see. They added Joey Bosa because they needed a guy that can win one-on-one when third down and long, or 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. You need to get to a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, as you saw the Eagles did. They kept on were able to get to him constantly over and over and over again. You need to be able to get to him. You need to have a guy that can win one-on-one, those one-on-one matchups. Hopefully, now Joey Bosa has been hurt the past couple seasons, so they're hoping that he's kind of shrugged off those injuries, and he's able to at least provide them with a pass rusher in those 3rd down and long, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8 situations. That's what they need. And also, once again, they need some help at the wide receiver position. They need a number one, a true top 5 number one. They either need Keon Coleman to develop into one, or they need to just go ahead and see if they can draft one. But I don't think the way they're picking, how high they're picking, I don't think they're going to be able to get one. If I remember correctly, I think, who do I have? The Bills. I think I had them getting a defensive tackle, Talik Williams. I think I had a mock because I think by that time all the solid wide receivers have already been taken. All the first round, I think by that time they get, unless they trade up, by the time they pick, they're gonna lose. They're not gonna have all the worthy first round wide receivers are going to be taken. So I got them getting Talik Williams, that defensive tackle, originally marked. But who knows? It may be something different, But anyway, to the Dolphins. Do you think it's time for the Dolphins to give up on Tua? I understand they signed him to a big contract, but I don't think he's worthy of that $50 million a year contract. He's not.
I mean, but it's not because Tua is terrible. It's just y'all not going to go anywhere. The Bills run that division, and you're not going to upseat them. No,
the Dolphins feel like a perpetual 8-9, 9-18. Like that's what they feel like. Like especially with Tua at the helm, they don't feel like they're gonna. I don't know. Not saying Tua is not a. Once again, on this podcast, we talked about Tua. I talked about how I believe he's somewhat underrated as a quarterback. How he actually is a good quarterback, but once again, how good is he? Top flight? Is he even in that second? He's not in. Once again, we know he's not in that first tier quarterback. He's not even in that second tier. All right, he's probably more on that third tier of quarterback, and that's at best. But is that third tier of quarterback really going to knock your socks off? Nah, not really. And once again, that's third tier at best. He's probably really more in that fourth tier of quarterback. All right, because I got like. I got only four guys in that first tier. I think I got about like 5 or 6 guys in that second tier, and then you got that third tier, which I got about like 5 or 6 guys in. He probably falls in there. Probably he's in that third tier. Probably in that somewhere between that third, fourth tier of quarterback. But once again, that's not going to knock your socks off. So, but yeah. The only thing I'm waiting for is Zach Wilson, the star for the Dolphins. Just like once again, I'm just imagining that arm talent with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. I mean, if Mike Mandello can unlock him, I'm just saying, you might be seeing some nice little high flying offense. I'm just saying, it might be pretty entertaining. Just saying, that's all. But moving on. To the Jets. And this might be like, honestly, KJ, I think I'm going to agree with you. I think it might be addition by subtraction. By them getting rid of Aaron Rodgers, I think they're going to be a lot better team. Now, they did get a new quarterback with Justin Fields. However, with the Jets' track record of quarterbacks, the last real consistent quarterback they've had was for like multiple years, and I'm by multiple, I mean by like 3 or 4 years. I would say either you can either say Mark Sanchez or Chad Pennington. But once again, is that really the bar? if that's the bar, that's a pretty low bar. Yeah. No disrespect to Chad Pennington, though I think Chad Pennington was better than Mark Sanchez, if you had to ask me. I mean, but still, Chad Pennington, once again, how high that bar actually is. But yeah, so the Jets have had bad luck when it comes to the quarterback position. So I hope, because as a guy who roots for Justin Fields, I hope it goes well. I just don't know if it will. Now, with the Patriots, this team might go from worst to first. They could. or worse. Let's not say worse than the first in that division. Let's say worse to a playoff. They have the ability to do what my Commanders did this season. How my Commanders were the worst team in the division. We were last place, and we got all the way to the NFC Championship game. Now, I'm not saying next year that's going to be the Patriots. They're going to make it to the conference championship game, but I say they are going to have the ability to, because you have Mike Vrabel. They have their coach that they wanted. I don't know why they hired why they made Jared Mayo their head coach when they knew that that's not who they wanted. They knew they wanted Mike Vrabel as their head coach the whole time, and they spun their wheels with Jared Mayo for God knows what reason. But either way, they got their head coach, and you see they like you said, they added Diggs, they added some Davis, they added some pieces, they added Harold Landry. They added pieces in the trenches. You see that they're starting to build that, I would say, a little bit of that Patriot way. Would you say, KJ?
Yep.
So it looks like they're going back to that Patriot identity of that Bill Belichick had. But the thing that I say is this, though. I would say improve on that Patriot way, because we saw in those latter years of Bill Belichick. Now, it may be because Bill Belichick was old and maybe a little bit out of touch, but we saw those latter years, that Patriot way kind of didn't work. Maybe, but I think that's because you didn't have a quarterback. But either way, but we'll see. All right, let's not me just say anything sacrilegious here, but you see Mike Vrabel starting to build that Patriot way back up. And so now, once again, Patriots, you got your coach that you probably should have hired last year, but it's okay. Now we're going to see, I'm really interested to see what the Patriots do, because I really think I can see this team going from, hey, they're the bottom, and now they're 10-11 win team, and they're in the playoffs, and they can make a little noise. So yeah. But if that's all we have to say, so we're going to go ahead and wrap this podcast up like we always do, KJ, with our last second shout out. So who in the sports world do you have to shout out?
Oh man, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna be a homer today. Go ahead and shout out my Detroit Pistons, because we just hit a franchise record in 3 points this year. With our 994th 3-point. So Malik Beasley, Cade Cunningham, and Tim Hardaway Jr. joined Joe Dumars, Lindsey Hunter, and Terry Mills as the only trios in Pistons history with 140 3-points made. And let me tell you something. Malik Beasley is the leader. That man might be sixth man of the year. I think he's leading the league in three-pointers this year by far. So most of that is on Malik Beasley. But yeah, go ahead and shout out to our offense for being good this year.
Definitely. My shout out goes to OV! Alex Ovechkin. Yes, hockey fans, a hockey mention here on this podcast. But yes, Alex Ovechkin from the Washington Capitals. Once again, even though I do not watch baseball or hockey, I root for the Nationals, root for the Capitals. DC, y'all know that's Landover, Maryland, DMV area. That's me. But anyway, shout out to Alex Ovechkin that he surpassed Wayne Gretzky, the GOAT, the hockey GOAT. All right. And for some reason, that's actually like unquestionable. But anyway, he surpassed Wayne Gretzky in goals at 895. Wayne Gretzky was 894. And Alex Ovechkin passed him with 895 goals. And I believe the same amount of games played, if I'm correct. So yes, shout out to Alex Ovechkin. You've had a great career. You are definitely a first ballot Hall of Famer when you go into the Hockey Hall of Fame. One of the greatest hockey players that ever played the game. Shouts out to you, OV. But that is all the time we have, folks. You've now been tuned in to MC Ron and his co-host.
Your guy, Zen on Ken.
And we are keeping it 10 toes down. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be on the podcast and talk your sports stuff with the best in the business, that is me and my co-host KJ. All you have to do is one of two things. Either send an email to keeping it 10 toes down at gmail.com. That is keeping it 10 toes down at gmail.com. Or send us a direct message on Instagram. That is at keeping it 10 toes. That is at keeping it 10 10. That's keeping it 10 toes. All right. Whoo, we are coming close to the NBA playoffs. I'm just excited, man, especially for the Western Conference. We all know the East, because I know people are going to be asked, why didn't you talk about who are the contenders in the East? We already know who the contenders of the East are, right? We already know there's going to be only 3 teams. There's only 3 teams, really only 2 teams we can see making it to the NBA Finals from the East, all right? I'm going to say 3 to be generous to the Knicks, all right? Maybe 4. No, 3. Maybe 4. Maybe. I'll be even nicer. Maybe 4. But really, I'm in all honesty, it's 2. And enjoy the rest of basketball season.
The sun is under my feet and I come in peace to compete. I don't run if you athlete. My statistics go up in weeks and I go visit the nearest creek and I get busy. Yo, mini MC, really ballistic. Anybody can see any assistance. Everybody to see some persistence. Recognize I be really too vicious. The permanent beast and the demolition. Breaking up the street, better partition. Better dot your T. Hannibal mention. Out of all you see, putting my dick in the rap industry. Everybody bitching, getting mad at me. Recognize Kendrick in a battery. And I'm charged up in a catastrophe. It's charged up in audacity. Y'all fucks never gonna have